he already played second during the regular season, so it's always a chance, I guess.
Alex, I know you answered a lot of questions about keeping your faith in David Price. I just wanted to ask you about Kimbrel in particular, kind of, what kept you so confident all the time? I know he's your closer, you're going to go back to him, but there were some bumpy rides in there, and just why you kept faith so much with him.
Because he was tipping his pitches. We knew that coming into that game, and he was going to make an adjustments, and you saw all of a sudden they were taking fastballs right down the middle. They took some bad swings on the slider, so too bad that it took us so long. We've been working, Danim's been working, me, but it was figured out, and that's why the stuff was always there. If you go back to the New York game, he had Sanchez in an 0-2 count, and he took some good sliders, great sliders. And Houston, they took some good sliders too. And all of a sudden, when he went out and he was warming up, and he had his hands at the belt, I look at their dugout, and there was a lot of looking around. I was like, yeah.
They didn't realize they didn't know what was coming.
I don't know. They're not going to tell me for how much they like me. But you saw the looks, you saw the takes, and you saw the results.
And what does it just say, if I can follow, thank you, that he did sort of stay with himself or within himself or whatever during the struggles before he knew what was going wrong, that he also, it appeared anyway, didn't lose confidence in himself?
I mean, closers, they're different. You close the game, you got to turn the page. You give up some runs, you got to turn the page. We talk about him not pitching a lot, and all of a sudden he's pitching a lot, which was great. Good to see him pitch those games in Houston. That meant that we were up in the game, but that's who he is. Since day one in spring training, it's been tough, with everything that he's been going through family-wise. We rally behind him. And everything is great now. To see his family all together in Houston and enjoy what's going on is awesome. But it's been a different year for Craig. Spring training was different. The first half of the season was different. And for him to keep battling and keep working his craft and stay focused and do the job that he's done throughout the season, it's been amazing.
Alex, David seemed visibly relieved to sort of get over that hump the other night, particularly given the circumstances. Do you think finally getting that win and putting some of those questions to bed frees him to be more himself going forward the rest of this postseason?
I mean, that's for him to answer, but coming into the series, I do believe that he was a great matchup for them. I saw it last year, and I listened a lot in the clubhouse after he pitched. So I had a pretty good idea that they didn't like facing David Price. That's why I always said that Game 4 here, when the Astros came back against the Red Sox, was huge because they knew that Price was going to pitch Game 5 regardless. And then he pitched this year twice against them, and he was good. Game 2 here, it wasn't great as far as the line, but a blue double by George, a play that we didn't finish, and a bad pitch to Marwin, and that was it. But he threw the ball great, and I felt it was a good matchup. And happy that he did it, happy that he pitches into the World Series, and looking forward for him to pitch in the next series and throw with conviction. That was the best stuff he's shown the whole season. Actually, the changeup played like a split finger fastball. He threw some 4-seamers in, 2-seamers, and you saw the swings. And we'll make sure he throws a bullpen before his next start, probably in the same day at midnight, and pitch him and see what happens. But he was amazing. He was amazing.
Alex, how important are these days to reset your starting rotation, and how is Chris?
He's ready to go. It's important for everybody, not only the rotation, but the bullpen. Barnesy and Brazier, Joe, everybody contributed. So it'll be good for them to have a few off days, and knowing that, when we have a shot, we're gonna go to them. And anyway, it's even good for me too mentally. Like to shut down for a little bit. It's been very intense the last 2 weeks, and but for Porcello and Nate, the way we use them, they'll be ready to go, and they're going to reset now, and we're going to go to the World Series with the same plan.
Alex, every team in spring training has that aspiration of going to the World Series, and every manager makes that similar speech probably about, setting that as a goal. But what about this group, when you sat down and talked to them this spring training, made you think it was really possible?
First of all, they're very talented. Second, we talk about it, there's not too many World Series rings in that clubhouse. There's not too many guys that have played in the World Series that are active. David, Joe, Porcello, Work, and Xander. I think that's it. So, like I said, that's the only motivation that we have. It was to play good throughout the season, knowing that October was going to be a huge month for everybody here, and then play the right way in October and get a chance to play in the World Series. And they done a great job of staying in the moment, not getting caught up on the best record in baseball or history in the making throughout the World Series. It's been actually one game at a time, regardless of the result, and they deserve to be in the World Series.
Alex, desde el principio que llegaste a este equipo, se sabía que la meta era llegar a la Serie Mundial, pero del dicho al hecho, como dicen,
hay un gran trecho.
Hay un gran trecho, 162 juegos de por medio, 6 meses de temporada o más, y unos playoffs. ¿Qué se siente, habiendo tenido un día libre ayer, meditar en lo que han logrado?
No, sigo diciéndolo, orgulloso de los muchachos, enfocados desde el primer día de campo de entrenamiento, aceptando la información que se le está dando y tratando de mejorar a diario, y lo han hecho. Ha sido impresionante de la manera que no han cambiado, no importa si tenían el mejor récord de las Grandes Ligas o era una temporada regular histórica para la franquicia, o jugar contra Nueva York o jugar contra los Astros. Ha sido lo mismo a diario, confiando en lo que tenemos en el clubhouse, confiando en la información que se nos provee y confiando en sus habilidades. Y todo el crédito es de los jugadores. Ellos al final son los que deciden juegos. Uno trata de ponerlo en posiciones que sean exitosas, pero ellos son los que juegan, y de verdad que han sido tremendos toda la temporada.
What's Stephen Wright's health situation? Is he a possibility for the roster?
He has to go through a few things. Yeah, I heard that he feels good about it. He threw a bullpen the other day, but tomorrow probably we'll talk to him first. That's the most important thing, and see where he's at. And if he feels that he can contribute, then he has to go through a few tests. PFPs and simulate game and backing up bases, and see how he reacts to it. So we haven't talked to him yet. We'll do that today. We'll say if he feels that he can contribute, then we'll do something tomorrow with that, and then we'll make a decision. But like I said, we haven't discussed it with him.
Alex, back in Kimbrel, had he been tipping his pitches for a while, or did he change his mechanics in October that allowed teams to know what's coming?
No, we just felt there's some teams that really pay attention. There's others that they don't, and we just played two of the most clever teams in the big leagues. So probably he's been doing it for a while, but the opposition will dictate if they take advantage of certain situations. And I'm not saying he was, but I do feel that he was. It was the way they look in the last game when he changes his hands from right around the beard to the belt. That was actually fun to watch from the other dugout. Yeah, so I think the stuff was still there, 98, 99. Obviously, fastball command has been an issue. I'm not saying that tipping or not tipping, that solved the problem with the fastball command, because he misfired a few times during that series. But when you take away that breaking ball, they just took it. It was like out of the hand or out of the glove they were taking. So it becomes a one-pitch pitcher, and you can gear up for 99, and there were some good swings. So I do feel that that's going to help. But also, you know, we have to throw strikes with the fastball. We got to let it ride up and away against lefties, and he did in that game. You know, he made some great pitches against Marwin, and you know, inside, outside, up and away. The one to Kemp was a good pitch. So we feel confident that, you know, he's back and he's gonna dominate.
Was it really Gagne that found that out, or not really?
No. It's a lot of work. I got a lot of friends. Around the league. You know, the network is a big one. So people are always paying attention, and they always text or call, and then we run it through the coaching staff, and they look at it. You know, sometimes you get so focused on mechanics that you forget about simple stuff. You know, including me. You know, I always try to clean that up before we go to big series, and you know, it was I didn't see it. You know, so there was always texts and calls around the league.
Actually, that was going to be my question. Do you remember the moment someone tapped you on the shoulder, or was it your phone that rang, someone else's phone? And
it was my phone, yeah.
Was it the morning of Game 5? Was it the day after Game 4?
It was the morning of Game 5, but it was after Game 4.
Okay.
Right around 12:10, 12:15, whatever that was, a.m.
And what was the area code on the number?
From Montreal.
Yeah, Alex, you talk a lot about matchups. Are hitter versus pitcher matchup numbers at all meaningful? You know, if so, how much of a sample size do you need? And related to that, is it more difficult or different matching up against a team where you don't have the hitter versus pitcher matchups?
Everything counts. And we played two guys that were 0 for 15 and 0 for 17 against Severino. And we get information from Zach and the analytical department as far as like swing path and pitch usage and all the cool stuff that, you know, some people like, others don't. So we basically use both. There's a balance, but I don't know how much. You know, people talk about small sample size. What small sample size? You know, especially now in the playoffs. Like, there's guys that they're 3 for 5, but you look at the at bats and it's 3 bloop singles or a bunt against the shift. So we use the information that is provided. We use our information down here, and then we make a conscious decision to see who's going to play.
Alex, with Nunez, is he doing okay? Where you feel comfortable that he'll be able to?
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he was actually good for Game 5. Yeah.
And with third base, will you continue to play the matchups, or has Devers kind of worked more into a regular role in your mind?
We'll play the best third baseman that we feel that is going to give us the best chance that night. We'll keep it at that.
You talked about the importance of Ron this season as your bench coach, but how big has he been as a resource during the playoffs in particular, just helping you kind of center your thoughts and make some of those tough decisions the last couple of series?
He's been great for us. And that Dave mentioned it during the interview process that he would like a veteran guy right next to me, and I recognized Ron in 1997 as a guy that we talked the same lingo and we saw the game the same way. And you know, he worked for Soch and he ran his own team in Milwaukee. So to call him and him to be on board, that was great. And we got a young coaching staff: Carlos, Goody, and Ramon, Andy, Timmy, Dana, CB. So he actually slows it down for us, which is great. I've been saying all along, there's some crazy thoughts sometimes from my end, like, pretty cool. And then he's like, no, we're not doing that, which is great. But he's been amazing, not only with me, but with the players. He's been through everything. He's amazing. He's a guy that he communicates, and he's able to adjust too. You know, this is a different organization, and he's been with the Angels for a while, and then you run your own team, so you have conviction behind your thoughts. But he's been able to adjust a few things that we do differently, and he's been great.
Alex, has all the scouting been done on the Brewers and Dodgers, and are you just going to sit back and enjoy tonight's Game 7, let them battle it out as a fan?
27 innings tonight, huh?
Yeah.
27. The lefties, they pitched 10 innings, and then they show up. Yesterday was the first time I was able to sit down and watch them. But as you know, there's advanced scouts, and they've been following these teams for a while now. With the Dodgers, it's kind of like the same situation with the Astros. Everybody talk about me, but we had CB here, so he knew a lot about how they pitch. Over there with the Astros, and same deal with the hitters here. If we played the Dodgers, we got team higher, so he was there for a while. So it's not that it's going to make a huge difference, but we're going to have a pretty good idea how to attack them. And as far as the Brewers, they're good. They're really good. We know a few guys of them, and we've been following them for a while. So the scouting report will be there, and we should be okay.
Along those same lines, I was going to ask a similar question, but how like early in the do you have advanced scouts that are scouting the NL from the beginning of the postseason, or how does that kind of work in terms of?
From the beginning of the postseason.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so are they giving you feedback along the way, or is it
No,
not
yet. We haven't even talked about them. We're waiting for tonight, and then we'll have meetings tomorrow and go through the cool stuff and be prepared for Tuesday.
Alex, that quality that your team has of like relentlessness, like they just kind of keep coming at you in waves, whether it's the hitters or the way the lineup turns over, or even kind of bouncing back from a loss or something. Has it ever surprised you, or did you see it from the beginning, or would you even agree that they have that, or are there moments it's even impressed you with just?
That's a great question. I don't know. They enjoy playing. First of all, they were very disappointed at what happened the last 2 years. So sometimes you have to learn. Everybody talks about 2004, but 2003 was a tough one for everybody in this organization and the players, and then they came back and did all that cool stuff in the postseason and ended up winning the World Series. Then we had a few guys in 2007 that they lived through it in 2004, so we were down 3-1, and it really didn't matter. And there's a lot of guys that the last 2 years, their seasons were cut short, and probably they learned a lot. And they're playing with a sense of urgency the whole postseason. Starters, relievers, position players, you guys have heard me saying it, we're all in, and they are all in, and that's cool to see. They lose the game, they treat it like the regular season. They turn the page, they show up the next day and do the same thing. And their at-bats, amazing. The way they pitch to the edges and so far in October, it's been great. It's good to see. It's good to see. They actually, and they did throughout the season, but in the playoffs, we don't have to think about, we're playing the Astros now, and then we have to go to Tampa. And then also then you're like thinking about the Astros and the Rays. Now it's one-on-one matchup, so you just focus on the opponent, and if you see something, a weakness, you're going to exploit it and keep going. But testament to them, they keep executing, and they keep doing a good job at the plate, running the bases, playing defense, and they don't really get caught up in the moment. We went to New York, like I said, after Game 2 here, it was tough to actually had that feeling that the city was kind of like desperate, or what's going on here with these guys, and they didn't know. And they go over there and they won 16-1 and finished the job in the Yankee Stadium. And with Houston, the same deal. We lost in Game 1, and all of a sudden it's the same feel outside the clubhouse, and they ended up winning 4 in a row. It's great to see. It's fun to watch in the clubhouse. It's been the same. The only exception is like before the games, it's very quiet. It's only them, which is cool. And they keep playing the same music, doing the same things, and just being consistent at what they do.
Going back to question one, have you talked at all about what you'll do in the National League Park?
Not yet.
Regardless of the
Not yet.
opponent?
He'll take ground balls as always. He's not going to change. But obviously, we'll see who we play, matchups. As you guys know, one team relies on starters, the other one relies on their bullpen. So those are the cool conversations that come with where we at, and I don't mind that. So we'll talk about today. You're going to see Mookie taking ground balls at second, but he's been doing the whole season, so do not overreact with it. That's part of his that's part of his preparation. But we'll talk today. We'll talk about it.
When's Chris Sale going to throw a pen? Do you know?
No, I don't know yet. Yeah.
On the Mookie question at second base, is there any concern about, he did play those few innings in the game that you got ejected. Is there any concern about, exposing him to takeout slides on the double play and things that he hasn't done in a long time?
I was just joking with him. There's a reason you're the right fielder. I mean, he feels that he's great at second. I don't know. I never saw it. If you ask him, he's I'm great. If you ask Pedroia, then he'll say he sucked. So there's a lot that goes into it. Teams do it differently. I saw Muncy playing second base yesterday. That's the way they do it. We got some pretty good second basemen. We got some good outfielders, and like I said, this is we're in the World Series. That conversation was gonna come up. One thing for sure, JD will play. That's clear. So we'll see which alignment is better, which lineup is better, and we'll make decisions accordingly.
I mean, exposing him in that way, is that part of the equation for you? Is that a concern about him not having turned, being there for takeout slides when he's not accustomed to having a runner bear down on him and possibly putting him in harm's way? Is that something you have to take into account?
That and not turning double plays in a big moment, and him not playing second base in a while, and him being the best right fielder in the league, all that stuff comes into consideration.